Jeff Miller for mayor.
Oh,
Mosquito.com.
Mosquito.
All right. I don't want them to mix it up. Okay, an umpire and a vampire square off week after week, reviewing movies outside their own strike zone. This week's movies, the 1983 Charles Bronson flick 10 to Midnight and the 2017 Tonya. Starring Charles Bronson. Tonya. Charles Bronson, Margot Robbie, Wilford Brimley, Oscar winner Allison Janney, Gene Davis, Lisa Eccleston, and Kelly Preston. Now two guys.
Two guys.
Who have short attention spans. Tim,
this is so lame. This is the worst opening you've done.
No,
what's going on over there?
I didn't have anything written down, and I'm like, when I saw your shirt, I'm like, I'll use that, but I couldn't remember what it said, and then I couldn't. Then I was too close, and I couldn't see it.
Oh my God, Jeff.
Tim, I couldn't see it.
Jeff.
You know what, Tim? Whatever.
Okay.
It is what it is.
All right. Well, let's. I'll tell you what the show is. He's the ump. He's Jeff Miller.
Hell yeah.
For those of you that are unacquainted, Jeff taught chimpanzees how to play billiards in South America by utilizing specially flavored bananas and infinite seeds. So just so you know that about Jeff. But Jeff.
Wow. That's news to me.
Hey, and Jeff is our resident sports fan.
Yep.
So of course I assign lots and lots of great horror movies for him.
And Tim pronounced horror correctly because when we started this whole thing, he said horror. And I'm like, ooh, horrors. Let's watch some horror movies. But it's horror. So, but what I do is because I like sports.
You do. You're ridiculous.
Like Mountain Dew.
Okay.
I like a lot of things. But what I did is
You know what I like?
But I give Tim... No, I don't. I was gonna say horror. I give Tim.
You give me horrors?
No.
Oh, okay.
I give Tim sports movies.
By the way, hi, Mom.
Is she in here?
Yeah.
Swole
The minute you're talking about horrors, there comes Mom walking in.
You know,
hi, everybody.
So here's the thing. I give Tim sports movies, and you know we have a good time doing this. I've had whatever that was.
That was the box, baby.
Oh, I've had a pretty easy season so far. I've had some really harsh movies, but this week,
I think I've been very easy on you.
I did. I said you've been very easy this season.
Yeah.
I says in the past, like The Conjuring and The Collector.
You keep going back to those.
Those are the two worst movies I've ever watched. Those are two.
No, they're.
I
awesome
couldn't
movies.
sleep for 3 days after.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we're watching for tonight.
What'd you give me?
Tonight we have. Oh, yes, I gave you. I was like, did he just say the wrong one?
No.
10 to Midnight. 10 to Midnight, a Charles Bronson film during his time at Cannon Group, and we'll be talking about that a little bit here.
Cop, a killer, a deadline.
It's honestly, I think it's the best movie Cannon ever came out with. Now, you might be going, really? Is it possible? Let me tell you, it's very easy to be the best movie Cannon ever came out with. This is the studio that brought us all the Chuck Norris films before he did Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
He did I think 30 or 40 films for this.
Really?
What they specialized in was an 80s action movie. They did a couple of the Death Wish sequels.
2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, they. I know they did 4. They did the last Superman movie of the.
Oh, that was
Christopher
terrible.
Reeve. They did the Masters of the Universe. There is an excellent documentary out there.
Really?
Called Electric Boogaloo: The Story of Cannon Films. Electric Boogaloo was one of their movies that was breaking too. It is one of the best documentaries. It's better than any of the films they ever produced.
Really?
With the exception of 10 to Midnight. And you gave me...
Tonya.
Oh, I thought it was pronounced Tonya.
Nope.
Now, why you keep doing that?
Because I don't really know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
But I know her name is Tonya Harding, so I'm just going with Tonya. But why would you spell it
But
Tonya?
it's sometimes Tonya.
But why would you spell it like that?
No,
That's just like, why would you spell Chloe or Chloe?
What?
Chloe.
Slowly?
Chloe. That's
Slowly?
Chloe is the worst word ever because it's not Chloe. See, I'm trying to say Chloe.
You're trying to speak, and it's really
no.
not
Wait,
your
it's
strong
not. Wait,
suit.
it's not Chloe. It's not Chloe. It's no. What is it? It's Choli. No, what is it?
Why are you getting mad?
Because it's a stupid way to spell things. Spell things
It's
the way it should
Chloe.
be. CAT is cat. DOG is dog. Chloe should be CLOEY.
No, DOG is not dog. TANGO is dog.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
Best dog in the world.
Are we ready to start the show, or are you going to keep ranting?
I had one more thing to say.
I know you do.
Because of trivia,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time looking at the 10 to Midnight poster,
Yeah.
and I thought for sure the smoke coming out of the gun spelled something, and I couldn't convince myself that it didn't. So if you say that it spells something, that might be one of the answers.
Okay. Could be. All right.
Who goes first?
I do this week.
Ah! All right.
Yeah.
That's right. You guys got to stick around for my thing.
Yeah. That is why we're doing it that way, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, this movie." And
all right, Tim.
okay, so I watched Tonya. And,
Wait, no, I thought it was
from
Tonya.
27 I thought you told me it was Tonya. Now
It's-
you're changing your mind.
It's whatever you want to be because
You're
it
changing
is
your mind.
You
So
do whatever you want.
I'll do Tonya
Okay.
for you,
All right, thank you.
just for you. Now this movie is what is commonly called Oscar bait. Okay, not masturbate.
Or jailbait.
We're gonna get into that too. No, I can promise you we won't be getting into that. But this is Oscar bait. This was put out
Thank you,
late
Tim.
in the year.
Yep.
It was made so that Margot Robbie could have a shot at an Oscar. The ironic part about it is she's the one that didn't win an Oscar. It was the person playing her mother, Allison Janney, that ended up getting an Oscar. They have kind of an interesting... I feel like you don't have to talk about the story of Tonya Harding. But Tonya Harding was a figure skater in the, late 90s? And,
Early 90s.
Early 90s, I'm sorry. The early 90s, and her big thing was that she could land a triple axel, and at that time, no other female figure skater could do a triple axel. Now, this was back at a time when if you were competing in female figure skating, one of the rules was you had to be a female. This was a long time ago, so it might be difficult for some of you to relate.
Touché.
But what they did with this movie is she famously was, and there's a question as to what level she was involved, but somebody took down what was commonly thought of her biggest rival, which would be Nancy Kerrigan. Okay? And her name is pronounced Nancy. So just to let people know, it's Nancy.
Okay.
And Tonya were very big
Oh, I
rivals.
get what you're saying. Okay.
So anyway, they have this kind of interesting framing device because this movie does have a lot of he said, she said type stuff going on. So what they did is they recreated some interviews, like it was going to be a documentary, and then they interspersed it with the actual, I would say, biography style film.
Correct.
I will say they gave the Oscar to the right person because Allison Janney is absolutely awesome as the evil parent pushing her kid too hard.
Wasn't that amazing?
My favorite line from her is little Tonya wets her pants and she says, "Skate wet." Tell her to keep going because she's paying by the hour for the coach, and she's like, "You don't have time to go to the bathroom. You stay out there and you skate wet." That's some great parenting right there.
The cool thing about the fact that she won this Oscar on 8 days of filming. She filmed her part in 8 days of the 30, And she got her Oscar.
Yeah, here's the part that's amazing. This
Okay.
movie got an Oscar being shot in 30 days, which was clearly a 10-day shoot. I mean, my God, you talk about milking.
You're probably
your
right.
schedule.
You're probably right in that.
It's done in like 6 rooms. Anyway, one of them being an arena. Anyway, Margot does a good job being a redneck, but she's no match for Allison. Allison just does a great idea.
Cheers.
Now, what's good about doing this interviewing framing device is it can show some of the contradictions that there were in the stories. There's questions as to how often the evil Jeff, and I'm going to say evil Jeff so people don't think it's you.
Okay, good, because I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you saying?
The evil Jeff, Galooly,
Galooly.
was pounded on Tonya every chance he got, and not in a good way.
Isn't that something?
But there's a difference in the stories, and I'm just going to say this. This movie stacks you that you believe Tonya's account.
Okay.
And I am telling you, I don't know that I believe any of these freaks
I agree.
on anything.
Thank you, Tim, because I'm watching this myself, and we lived through this. Tim, you and I, we lived through this. I don't know how much
Well,
you...
it's only 20 years ago or something, 30 years ago.
I get it,
Big
but I'm just
deal.
saying, I mean, I did because
I
worked...
survived Tonya Harding.
Whatever. I worked at a radio station. This is like the main...
Kerrigan.
This is the main... The main attraction of the radio station I worked for at the time.
Right.
So I was in every part of this. But you're right. I mean, who do you believe? It's like he said, she said, and it's just... I mean, from the background she came from, I don't know.
Honestly, if, different circumstances, there was no need for anything that happened in this movie to happen. So it was entertaining to me. My favorite types of scenes in sports movies, and we have this in Bad News Bears too, is when athletes are smoking. That's one of my favorite things to watch.
Is that really?
And then they go,
do their thing.
They go do their thing. I think that's the funniest goddamn thing. It makes me laugh every time. Really awesome.
All right, thank you.
Now, here's the big question I think we all should have after watching I, Tonya. Is
Whatever. Just go with it.
can you call a competition that's judged a sport?
Yes.
So why isn't a beauty pageant a sport? Because I'll tell you, this thing reminds me so much of behind-the-scene pageantry. It's unreal.
Okay. And you would know.
It is unreal. It's all about what they're wearing.
True.
Are they have their makeup on the way
True.
that everybody else does it? Are you showing that you have money so you don't need whatever the award is? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Think about the fact that she had to get a fur coat, and her dad killed a bunch of rabbits and made a rabbit coat out of
Kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit. Now, to make this story more compelling, they do some pretty showy camera moves. Now, I don't think you noticed all these, but there were a lot of like real showy moves that they were natural to the story, so they didn't jump out and they didn't say for the Academy's review.
Okay.
But as a watcher of a lot of these movies, I'm like, really? Okay.
Like what?
So
Give me an example.
there's a tracking shot through the little house that they lived in after her divorce to Jeff Galooly, and then it pulls through the house, and like every room it looks, and there they are again, and then they're there again, and it's a different beating that he's taking out on her or whatever, and they pull all the way outside of the house and then start going down the street. It was done in one shot, but it was basically a montage of different things that were there.
Okay.
It's a great camera move. Now, one of the things I noticed with these beatings that Galooly was doing all the time is that Tonya would protect herself. When an Olympian kicks you in the nuts, how much do you think that one hurt?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Honestly, his voice should still be a falsetto. At this point. I mean, what is up with that? So, and I need to talk about, there is a character in this movie.
Yes,
By the way, By the way,
yes,
Jeff Galooly, played by the guy that was the Winter Soldier in the Captain America.
Really? I didn't put those two together.
Same guy.
All right.
So there's a character named Sean Eckhart.
Yes.
There it is. This guy, they show at the end of the movie, they show some of the original interviews as to what they actually said. It is unbelievable that this person exists in reality.
Thank you, Tim.
He is just a tad bit insane. He actually, I think, believed that he was a spy operative that was a counter-terrorist spy.
I know.
And he was involved in all this.
Isn't that amazing?
He had operatives go in and kick Nuncy, and he hit her with the collapsible baton.
That was so... Oh, my God. That whole series of events was so bizarre. It was just so bizarre. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Now, by the way, if somebody is thinking about watching this movie, please sit down with a sheet of paper and count how many times Tonya says Jeff in this movie. Because, as you know, I know somebody named Jeff.
That's right.
And it is said 10,000 times.
Wasn't that great, movie. Tim? Did you love that?
Oh, I was sitting there and I'm like, I should write down the times of some of these. These would be good sound bites to just be able to pound on the board.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. It would just feed your ego even further than it already is. And right now, what we're all about here on the show is we want to talk to you about the horror movie connections that are in this film.
Already?
Oh, we're half an hour into the show.
Okay,
almost.
just checking.
All right, just checking. Okay, so we're going to start with, of course, Margot Robbie. So I'm going to ask you, Jeff, do you think she has any horror movies in her background?
I'm going to say, I'll explain why, but I'm going to say no, because all I really know her for is a Tarzan movie, Wolf of Wall Street, Barbie coming up.
Wolf of Wall Street, by the way, is not about werewolves. I double-checked.
Right. No, I don't think she does.
I actually fell in love with her on the TV show Pan Am, which I think was like one season.
Really?
And she is very cute.
I'm guessing she's a stewardess.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, and she was the lead.
I got it going.
She was the lead of the show.
Yeah.
And I think Christine Ricci was also in it, who was, a better known name at the time.
Yeah.
And I was watching it for her, and I'm like, but this cute little blonde, she's all right to look at.
So
was
that prior to like Wolf of Wall Street? Was that before she made her
that
thing?
was probably 2 years before she hit Wolf of Wall Street. She did some like Australian TV, I believe.
Because Wolf of Wall Street is her coming out movie, right? That's her big thing, right?
Yeah. Now, that was her making the mainstream.
Okay.
She did make a movie called ICU and Slaughterhouse Rules. I have not seen those, but they are referenced as horror movies. So it does look like she did the usual thing as an actress. Yeah, get some of those horror movies in. But she did less than a lot of people.
Okay.
So then we go to Sebastian Stan. That is the Winter Soldier. He has 4 horror credits.
Really?
We Have Always Lived in a Castle. That's one I actually heard of. I haven't seen it yet. Then the other 3 I never heard of. The Apparition, The Covenant, and Fresh. I did find Covenant was either on Prime or Roku, because those are the 2 I subscribe to.
Sure.
I'm like, I might put them on the list. So I think he's a good little actor. So, yeah, Sebastian Stan. Now, Allison Janney.
I like her.
She's done 2 horror credits.
She has?
Yes. She was in the movie Ma back in 1994. And she was a voice in the Addams Family animated film. Now, that's a stretch.
Tim.
But Ma is definitely a horror movie.
Is that a real movie, Ma?
Yeah, 1994. Wow. Then we have, let's see here. Yep. That's Julianne Nicholson. She was the coach for most of the time there.
Short hair, blonde,
Yeah, delicious. Now, she is what I call the new type of actress, because all of her past credits were really TV series, at least from the horror perspective.
Okay.
She was in Storm of the Century, The Others, and The Outsiders. I have watched Storm of the Century. Gun ahead, I don't know which characters she played, but it was one of those Sci-Fi Channel, big, terrible storm coming. Oh my God. But that you're seeing a lot more with these young actors and actresses that all they have is TV credits, because there are so many TV shows that are getting started because of Netflix and all these different streaming services, and they don't want a 2-hour movie when they can get you to sit in front of the TV for 8-10 hours. Now, this guy is well known. Bobby Cannavale. He played the hard copy reporter.
Oh, yeah.
He has been a more failed TV series, I can't even tell you. But he did do 2 horror movies I could find, The Night Listener and 100 Feet. He was in the TV series The Watcher. So
I've heard of that.
Yeah, but he literally is poison. If you're making a TV series, I would not use him. But I think he's very good. So it's kind of sad. Caitlin Carver, she was playing Nuncy Kerrigan.
She looks like her, similar to that Julianne Nicholson.
She looks like every other woman in
Hollywood. But they both look like they could be in a horror movie. I mean, I could see her screaming in the background somewhere.
And she was in the horror movie Call the Void.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a horror movie. And the TV show Freakish. Which, now, of all the people in the movie, who do you think had the most horror movie background? The strongest?
Tim, I have no idea. I'm not going to even try.
This little girl is named McKenna Grace. She played the young Tonya.
8 to 13 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I know.
You got it in there. Okay. McKenna Grace, major credits. She was one of the leads on the Netflix hit series Haunting of Hill House.
Oh.
She was also in Annabelle Comes Home. That's one of the offshoots of your favorite horror movie.
The Thing.
No, The Conjuring.
I hate that movie.
She was in a remake of The Bad Seed, and she was in one of the latest Amityville horror movies called Amityville: The Awakening.
I'm
not sure, that might have been that last one that Harvey Weinstein made, which that would be not great stuff.
Yeah, not good. I don't want to know that about her.
Yeah, but she's a very talented actress. I am expecting her to continue to make some big flicks.
She's also done some right for Amazon movies.
Yeah.
And right for Netflix.
Yeah, everybody does. Now, this movie, Tonya, I'm getting sick of saying it wrong.
Okay.
It did well at the 90th Academy Awards. Janie won Best Supporting Actress. Robbie earned a nomination for Best Actress. And Tatiana Regal earned a nomination for Best Film Editing. Now, you might be going, well, what the hell about film editing? When I was watching this, I was like, that's a great cut.
Okay.
That's a great cut.
All right.
There was a lot of stuff where I'm like, that was a nice snap. And there were some really good shots in this.
Okay.
Having said that.
Yep.
It's time to score it.
Wait. Before you score it.
Okay.
You've watched plenty of movies. The Oscars is right up your alley. Do you think that Margot Robbie she should have won the Academy Award, or you think
I
no?
can't. I didn't check who she was up against.
Okay, all right.
It was certainly
But do you feel her
a
performance
good
was
performance.
okay?
It
all
was
right.
certainly an award-worthy performance. Honestly, I think Wolf of Wall Street was a stronger performance. from
Really?
her.
Okay. All right.
But this was a good performance, and it does capture the different aspects to her character that were definitely there, and some of them that I'm pretty sure weren't there.
Is it something she's Australian and you wouldn't even know it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something else. Tim,
Here's the problem with the movie for me.
there's no
Okay,
problem.
Go
with it.
ahead.
Well, no, I want.
You're gonna
No, I want
break in here.
I do because I want to give you some kudos because when you people watch or listen to this show, you get so much information from Tim. It's awesome. Tim,
I don't leave my couch.
but Tim's segment of this is awesome, and I love
am
sitting
awesome.
here. I was trying to say.
I'm gonna agree. I am awesome.
You know what? Okay, whatever. I love sitting here every week and listening to what he has to say because I learn so much. But go ahead, Tim. Give it a rating.
Okay. Well, here's the problem, Jeff. I saw this movie when it first came out.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know you ever saw this.
This was the year. I think it was 2017.
Yeah.
This is the year I had Movie Pass. If it came out, I was seeing it
I thought.
because it was free. Then I ended up seeing it on a cruise.
The word is cruise, not Tom Cruise.
Oh, sorry about that. Saw it on a cruise. Now I watched it a third time.
It's always a charm.
It's hard to watch 3 times. This movie.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story, but I already know too much about the story going into the movie the first time.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it's not going to do too good on my score because I was kind of bored with it this time.
But that's because you've watched it 3 times.
Yes.
What if you watched it for the first time?
It doesn't get better with repeated
Right, but if
viewings.
you watched it for the very first time,
I
like
watched
the movies
it
I watch
but
are for the
was
first time.
I was not watching it the first time. But I'm going to give it a 7, which is more than I planned. I was going to give you a 5. But as I did the review, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of good things. The acting's good. So
An Oscar winner.
I'm going to give it a 7.
An Oscar winner.
Which is basically
Charity?
It's charity that I'm giving
You
it
ass.
here. So,
Wow.
but
Wow.
I would suggest to folks that see this review and go, oh yeah, I should watch it again. Don't. But if you haven't seen it, yeah, you should probably go see it.
Thank you, Tim.
It's an acceptable way to spend your
2 hours.
evening. All right. So, you know what time it is, buddy?
What time is it, friend?
It's time to go to the sports center.
Good.
And after 20 minutes, this will get itself started here. There we go.
Everything is a lot crisper tonight.
There has been a lot of reworking of stuff. And I got your music going.
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it? You wearing?
Oh, yeah, I can hear it now.
If I turn it up too loud, people don't hear you, and then I get a lot of people thanking me.
Wow. All right. Hey, I'm Jeff Miller, and this is the OWC Sports Department Update.
Woo!
And just keep those emails coming into my email. I'll send you out whatever
Someday
you need.
you'll get one.
I have some Magnetic Brewer schedules for all of you. Anyways, the Brewers remain on top of the NL Central with an 8-4 record despite losing 2 of 3 to the Diamondbacks.
There's the Brewers.
Yeah. The Crew opens up a 4-game set against the Padres tonight in San Diego to get the middle of their West Coast trip taken care of. The Tampa Bay Rays, with this afternoon's defeat of the Boston Red Sox, improved to 13-0. Why is that important to us here in Milwaukee? Because they tied the Milwaukee Brewers from 1987 that won their first 13 games of the season. And they also tied the 1982 Atlanta Braves for their first 13 games of the season.
Does that mean people get
No.
free burgers at George West?
No, they don't. I wish
Well,
they
then
did.
who cares?
But here's the thing, though.
I barely care when the Brewers do that.
This is the thing. When the Brewers won those 13 games,
Yeah.
they turned around in May and lost 12 in a row. So
That's impressive.
So we'll see what happens with Tampa Bay. I'm hoping Tampa Bay loses tomorrow because I want them to just tie the Brewers. I want the Brewers to stay on top. Craig Counsell
Oh, I should just keep that up. Okay.
has now accumulated 1,182 games as the Brewers manager, which is a record. In my opinion, that's 1,882 too many games.
But he's highly successful and keeps winning
He is not.
games.
He's successful because of the team that he has. He's not successful. He's not a successful person. So Craig Counsell can just step down at the end of the season, move to the front office, and let's get a manager on the field that knows what they're doing. Because I'll tell you what. So listen to this right now. This is what I have to say. So Corbin Burns on Tuesday night, he's got a shutout
Now,
going, right?
he's not on LA Law anymore,
No,
right?
he's got a shutout going, right? Shutout.
Yeah.
89 pitches through 8 innings.
89.
He's just rolling. He's got 8 strikeouts, 3 walks. He's given up a run. No, he's given up no runs. He's given up no runs. It's a
Giving
shutout.
up no runs.
Craig Counsell's like, it's 88 degrees out. Maybe that might be too much for your arm. We're not going to have you pitch in the 9th inning. So they bring in another pitcher. The pitcher gives up a run. There goes the shutout. Yes, the Brewers still win. But do you know the last time the Brewers had a pitcher go a complete game shutout was 2014 with Kyle Lausch.
2014? That was before you were born.
Craig Counsell has only let his pitchers complete a game 6 times since he's been a manager. 6
Can
times.
I ask you a question?
And the last time was Freddie Peralta.
In the time that he's been a manager.
Yeah.
How many other managers have let their pitchers go the full time? I rest my case.
Anyways, so back to one other quick thing, Tim. One other quick thing.
One more quick thing, everybody.
Brady Ware became the first pitcher.
Underwear?
Became the first pitcher ever to hit for the cycle and throw a no-hitter for the University of Indianapolis. Now listen to this though.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani, who pitches for the California Angels. Now the chance of him doing this, now because he pitches and bats, the chance of him hitting for the cycle is 0.11%. The chance of him throwing a no-hitter in the same game is 0.13%. You multiply those two together, you get
12.
You get 0.000447%, which equals out to 22,371,265. So I'll tell you what, you go to Las Vegas, you bet on that, you bet $1, you'll be a multimillionaire. I'm Jeff Miller, and that's the sports that I know.
Woo!
You know who just enjoyed that segment the most?
Who?
Trogdor.
Trogdor?
Because
Really?
he's crunching the numbers right now. He's like, I want to see if Miller was right.
Well, I think we can all agree that you probably aren't.
No, I'm 100% right. I crunched the numbers.
All right. You know what it's time for?
Merch Madness. Good.
We will return you to the regularly scheduled
I love
program
this segment.
in just
We
a
know.
moment.
We're well
But
aware.
first,
Let's make some merch money.
Dead on the Bases has You heard us right. You heard us develop the product online. You saw how the elements came together. You heard it all
This is so
become
awesome that
the
you put this together.
juggernaut of awesome you know today. We have Dead on the Bases merch.
Yes.
Get this high-quality,
We need new
durable
merch.
garment at our store or a fine partner location. Get our
Headbands.
classic and classy tees
Those are
that
nice.
really shine, worn out on their own, paired with some chinos or a pair of jeans. This
It
is
does
for
look good
sure
with
your
chinos,
new
though.
favorite
It
tee.
does.
And it's also your significant
That was
other's
Pip.
new favorite
Vamp.
tee.
He runs
Made
the
with
line.
a super soft blend of ring-spun cotton and
beast.
polyester to help the shirt
Made for
keep it
Pittsburgh.
shaped
Made for
as it will
Pittsburgh.
soon
There you
be
go.
the shirt
Oh, look,
you wear
you see it
for
had like a
all
carton on there.
occasions.
Yep.
And what else do we
Nice.
have coming in the line?
I'm thinking about getting coasters, and I'm thinking about getting tumbler, like Yetis. I don't know, man. I think we got a market going. I don't know.
As always, Jeff, you are so right. Get this fabulous product now at a location near you. Dead on the Bases.
Red Owl.
When you
Dead
can.
Owl.
And when you are.
Open it up Muskego style.
It's right after you get through the lanes.
Yeah,
You get through the lanes and you turn to the right, and there's a little rack.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you buy like $20 worth of produce, you get a free one.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, that's merch time, and we want to thank everybody for watching the show every week. And we want to remind you that it helps us if you subscribe, if you write reviews, and most of all, tell a friend so that you're not subjected to this all on your own anymore.
You know what?
Yeah, bring a friend to the show.
Right. You know what? Make it a drinking game. Or make
How
it just
many times does Jeff speak as he's typing? Hey, you know what? You know what I just noticed?
I haven't done that yet.
You know what I've just noticed?
What?
We got somebody else got into the chat.
Is it Susie Swoback?
It's Susie Snowflake.
Yes,
She's in
Susie.
there. Hey, Susie.
Buenos dias, señorita.
Okay.
That's Pittsburgh Ian for
That,
hello.
Pittsburgh Ian.
For hello.
What
Wait,
the hell is Pittsburgh Ian?
That's how they speak in Pittsburgh.
Is it?
Buenos dias,
I don't think
señorita.
anybody has ever... No.
Hey, you know when they show on Big Bang Theory that they talk in Klingon? Is that real? I mean, is that like really Klingon work?
Okay, why? How did we get there?
I don't know.
How did we get there? You
I
know
was-
what it's time for?
Because I was thinking about Penny.
Well, anytime's a good time. All right, Jeff Napolis, Jeff. Tell us, what did you watch this week for Dead on the Bases?
10 to midnight. I watched the Charles
Who
Bronson.
wonders why nobody watches?
No,
Yeah.
people do watch this show, and they watch it for the fact that I'm going to tell you that this 1983 movie, 10 to Midnight, was R-rated, and it was an hour and 41 minutes long.
Yeah, that's on IMDb on the screen you're looking
What does
at right
IMDb
now.
stand for even?
Internet Movie Database.
Oh.
Next question.
See,
Who was one of the first people to write a review for IMDb?
who? You? Get out of here.
Eye of the Needle. You will find an
You were the first one?
Old review. I'm not the first one,
But very close.
but it was early days. They were still only on Usenet. They weren't even on the web itself. They were in the Usenet. Which,
How'd you find that?
Because I used to cruise the Usenet.
Cruising.
Yep. Well, there was a time when there was bulletin board systems, and this was about the time where AOL was just starting to
You have
catch
mail.
on, all that stuff. So yeah, I found a movie thing because what else would I look for online? And it said, oh, you can submit reviews, and like to write the review, it would say each line must be exactly 40 characters. So I would
Are you
write the
serious?
review, and I'd have to count every line and then send it, and then do the next line and then
Are
send
you
it.
serious?
Well, that's why I didn't write many. I was like, this is crap. Had I known it would become what it is today, I might have put more out there. But yeah,
Huh. Do you know who
I
the
had
first?
half a dozen or so.
Do you remember who is the first recipient of the IMDb award?
No,
You don't.
no.
Selma Hayek. She won it last year.
Well, all right, we got the foremost fan.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Anyways,
Yeah.
so back to the movie. So 10 to Midnight.
10 to midnight.
So 10 to Midnight, which actually has nothing to do with the movie at all. All the movies.
It is a horrible title.
It is.
It makes no
But
sense.
how about the drawing up there of him like, stop. I'm at 10 to midnight. What is that, Tim? That's a little odd.
I don't get it.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with the movie. All it kind of is referring to is the urgency. So when the clock strikes midnight, it's, Cinderella turns into a pumpkin or whatever. So at midnight,
There were no pumpkins hurt in movie 10 to midnight.
at midnight, everything happens. So 10 to midnight, the urgency of him having to stop this killer before it kills someone else. That's what this is about. So the thing of it is, though, get this, Tim. Here's the thing. The thing that's unique about this movie, not unique, but so you're watching this movie, and it's a cop movie mostly. It's a cop movie. They're going after a serial killer. Okay? But the thing of it is, though, Tim, is they have that serial killer, like right from the get-go, they have him. They know who it is.
Right.
They do. But they got to let him go. But the thing of it is that he strikes some more. But the thing of it is that, now I'm saying the thing of it is a lot. And I got to cut back on
It's
that.
shocking that you would say the same thing more than once.
I know, but it happens a lot. So here's the thing. The thing of it is.
The thing.
Shit.
Tell me what the thing of it was.
So
Oh no, here it is, everybody.
Hold on a second. Hey, yup. Listen,
We're all
listen.
waiting
Hey, yup.
for
Listen,
this.
listen, 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 listen. No, listen. Hold on a second. Wait. This will be on the top 40. No, listen. Listen. Hey, yup. Now listen. Hold on a second. Stop. So, Gene Davis, who plays Warren Stacy, he's the killer. All right, he's this killer, and you know he's the killer from the very beginning of the movie. And the weird,
Yeah, it's not Columbo. Well, Columbo was a bad example.
Right.
It's not Agatha Christie.
but
you know who the bad guy is.
But you know who the bad guy is. But this is like around the same time that Halloween and Friday the 13th and all that came out. But you really don't know anything about those killers.
You're not connecting this to the right movie. What movie is this most like? I'll give you a hint.
Yeah, please.
Charles Bronson is playing a cop that doesn't follow the rules.
Die Hard.
Hold on. Charles Bronson's made a lot of these types of movies. And Clint Eastwood made a lot of these types of movies.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry. In the first Dirty Harry, he chased down somebody called the Scorpion Killer.
Yeah,
Like that.
something like that. Yeah.
And it was a serial killer.
Is that the one with where he goes, "Do you feel lucky, punk"? Is that the
No,
same one?
that's the fourth
Okay.
Dirty Harry.
That's what I never saw.
The first one, he's chasing the Scorpio Killer.
There you
That's
go.
what it is, the Scorpio Killer. And this movie is pretty close to the Dirty Harry template, but in this movie, Dirty Harry doesn't go to the depths that Charles Bronson does. He manufactures evidence and crap against this guy.
He does, but he knows that he's a killer, so he's gonna go and make sure that he's covered. But see, that's the thing.
How can anybody know anything about anyone? Really?
So here's the thing. So Gene Davis, the funny thing is when I see this name Gene, I keep thinking of Gina Davis. So in my mind, I gotta go, it's not Gina Davis, it's Gene Davis. But so Gene Davis in this movie, the thing that he does is that when he kills them, he strips down naked. But he wears...
But it's brilliant, right?
It is, because then you have nothing on your clothes,
Right.
but which is key in this movie. But he still puts on surgical gloves, which I don't understand because he doesn't leave the weapon anywhere. So I don't understand where that'd be a difference unless he's touching them. I get that. But he's whipping around. He's got everything going on.
He's whipping around. He's got everything going on. When we just stated they're naked.
Yes, but when he's running,
we just said it, everybody.
I know, but he's running around naked. But that was a little uncomfortable. I'm glad I didn't have to I'm glad. I didn't
Oh, we should probably apologize to Susie. This is inappropriate language for the whole family.
I didn't say wang or anything. It's just like he's just whipping around, like unclothed.
Well, it'd be a dick move. Just get it out of your system. Just say penis. Go ahead.
Tim, but here's the thing. Listen to this. I didn't expect that to be the case in this movie. And he strips down and he's killing people like that. But the
Well, and keep in mind, this movie is made for the exploitation audience. It was made, there's a number of nude scenes.
A couple.
There's violence in it. And it doesn't go on forever. It's a fairly quick movie to go along. This was made, I think it did get a theatrical release, but this movie was made, and you look at that poster.
Wait a second.
That poster is made for the front of a VHS.
It is. It's drawn.
Case.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
You can tell that. And you're right, it is. So in this movie, Charles Bronson plays the cop. His daughter is Lisa.
Hold on.
Hold
on. I'm going to stop you because I think that's a great poster.
It is. I didn't say it wasn't.
Because, well, you said, oh, it's painted.
It is.
I hate today's movie posters are like Photoshop stuff and photos.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And it's like, these are so boring. I don't need to cast photo. That's like going through somebody's yearbook. Look at this poster. You got a smoking gun. You got two people in one corner. They're obviously running from something, which I don't understand because Andrew Stevens is a cop. And why is he running from the guy with the knife?
Right.
This is very
You got
odd
a couple
behavior.
cop cars there.
You got some cop cars. You have whatever. I think somebody dancing YMCA in the one corner.
Send them at night.
But, you know, It's a very action-packed looking thing.
It is.
When you look at, I'm not going to pull it up right now,
No.
but you look at the Tonya poster, it's a picture of her. Now, I'm not saying it's a terrible poster, but it sure isn't interesting. It's a picture of her. Oh, this is the star in a movie in character. Okay, thanks. I have no idea. If you took Tonya off that poster, you have absolutely no idea what you're looking at. You think you just bought a pinup of Margot Robbie.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I'm
Well, if
always
you take
right.
10 a minute off of here, what would you think too?
Well, 10 to Midnight's the worst title.
I know, but if you take
Oh,
that
no,
off of
no,
there,
no.
you're just looking at a guy shooting a gun.
Still cool.
I guess.
Yeah. If they don't shoot in the first 10 minutes of a movie, my dad leaves the room. He leaves the room. He's like, this movie's got nothing for me.
But
Where's the damn horses? Is usually what he says.
does he really? So here's the thing. So
It's happened.
so Lisa Elbacher.
Eilbacher.
It's probably German. So thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
So Lisa plays
What I'm
Charles
here for.
Bronson's daughter. She's a candy striper. She's a
Chuckles.
nurse.
He goes by Chuckles.
No, he doesn't.
He
But
kinda.
she was also, you're going to remember her from Beverly Hills Cop,
Yep.
Leviathan. She was in all those movies.
She made like 6 or 7 like noteworthy movies
And that's it. Done.
in about 5 years and disappeared.
But if you see her in the movie, you know who she is. I mean, she is not.
She's cute.
She's very cute.
Yeah.
The
Oh, she's great in Leviathan. She's
The
looking real good.
the
in
unique
Leviathan.
unique thing about this movie is Andrew Stevens, who plays Paul McGann,
Yep.
the guy who is Charles Bronson's rookie cop
Yep.
associate.
Yeah.
A year earlier, he's Gene Davis. He's the killer in The Seduction. And when I'm watching this, Tim, I recognize him, and I'm like, how do I know him? And I'm like, how do I know him? So I looked him up. Sure enough, he plays the killer in The Seduction with Morgan Fairchild.
Yep.
So we got a killer.
Which is a good movie. I
It
kind of
is.
like this seduction.
She's the best part in there is when she's doing laps in the pool, is showing that she's very athletic.
That's
She's-
what that was there for.
She's
I
good at the
enjoyed
backstroke.
it.
Let's just put it this way: she's good at the
I enjoyed
backstroke.
it. She's a healthy girl.
But it's kind of cool because he goes from killer, basically the same kind of person, to the cop in this one.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that during that time span in the 80s also, you saw him in a lot of movies.
He was a pretty big star.
Yeah, well,
Andrew Stevens.
I mean, I guess I didn't know him by name, but yes, you saw him in a lot of
he
stuff.
was the other guy in
Yes.
the movie.
Yeah.
He was
There
the
you go.
other guy. Yeah.
So what happens here is that Warren Stacy, the character Warren Stacy, played by Gene Davis, he does these killings. Charles Bronson is hot on his rear end to get this. Charles Bronson also does some nefarious stuff. I mean, he knows that he's a killer, but they can't prove it. And I'm not spoiling anything because I'm not gonna, because this is well worth watching this movie. And watching this movie, you're gonna connect the dots and you're gonna be like, he's gonna do something that he probably shouldn't do. Charles Bronson places some evidence. And I can say this. He places some evidence.
I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, he does. He does this. And you think about that. Now you think about that in modern day, and you're like, I wonder if cops do that. I wonder about this. But in this situation, it was called for. So I was like all for it. I'm like, hell yeah, do it. But when you think about it, it's like, that's kind of crappy too, in a way.
Well, all the Dirty Harry style movies
Yes.
with the vigilantes and Wild
Death
Cop,
Wish, yep.
it was a lot of frustration people have
Yep.
with the legal system here in the United States, that a lot of really bad people get away with stuff. Today, that ghoul that drove through the Christmas parade,
Yep.
they had to recalculate how much money he owed the families because they were afraid he might get a book deal or something and end up making money on this whole thing,
Right.
killing people. It's terrible stuff. So that's what all these movies have, that common theme. I think this movie, what I really like about this movie,
Yeah.
is that the villain, you cannot even pretend to sympathize
Yes.
with him.
100%.
There's so many of these movies today, and we were talking about, Winter Soldier and all that. He was the villain in that movie, and now he's a hero. So many of these movies, they want to make the villain sympathetic. I'm sorry. I want the villain to be a bad guy, and he needs
Yes.
to go away for a very, very long time or pay the ultimate price. That's what I want to see in my entertainment. And, oh, it's so much more interesting with Shades of Grey. And I'm like, screw the gray. Let's go.
So
Let's go.
I'll tell you what, though.
Nobody sits there and says, oh, you know, well, even like in horror movies, which I consider this a horror movie with all the serial killer and all that.
right.
It's on a line.
It's on a line.
I realize it's on a line, but I
Yep.
knew you hadn't seen it, so
Yep,
I wanted
thank you,
to
Tim.
get you to see it. But also, you take a character like Freddy Krueger from
Nightmare.
the Elm Street movies,
Yep.
which you're definitely going to get at some point. They try to make him, he's almost like the most likable character in the movie. And it's like, this guy is killing people over and over. You shouldn't be sympathizing with the villain. And here, he's such an arrogant
You don't. Yes, he is.
bastard.
Yeah.
There's just no way you like this guy. You enjoy it when Bronson is loading the deck against him.
You do. Because you're right. He is very arrogant. Even when they're interrogating him in his own apartment, he is. Do you get
Oh my God, he's such a prick.
Do you get a Jim Carrey vibe off of him? Like his facial, like looking at him in the face?
Charles Bronson?
No, Gene Davis.
Oh, the villain of
Yes.
the thing.
I was picking up Jim Carrey the whole time on that. You're waiting to take a look at
I
him.
don't, but it's an interesting comparison.
Thank you. And then one other thing I'll say about this, 'cause
Interesting because so wrong.
when you look at him, it looks a lot like Jim
You know,
Carrey.
my mother just put something.
I saw that.
into-
She used to work for Wang.
She used to work for Wang. Why would my mother be that dirty? Is there something?
I don't know, man. I saw that. I'm like, I'll let Tim look at it.
I don't want to look at things
See,
like
doesn't
that.
like Jim Carrey? Yes.
No,
Okay, so anyways.
he looks more like John Travolta.
But anyways, one other quick thing about this
Yeah.
is that there is a fantastic jump scene. There is a fantastic jump scene in this. I actually made a noise and jumped.
How is Tango okay?
Tango's fine.
Okay, good.
Tango kind of flipped me off. He's like, "Are you kidding
we
me?"
are worried about Tango. in
Okay,
those
so
situations.
I do have. Do I give my connections before I give my rating?
Yes, you do the connection.
I have.
now.
Do you have a thing for me?
Like that.
It's been a while,
It
and
has.
here are my notes because I'm not
Ooh.
that prepared.
No, you're not.
All right, so Jeffrey Lewis.
Yes,
He was in Every Which Way But Loose.
loose and every
And
which way
You can.
you can.
Bare-fisted fighting. So I consider that a sport.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'll give you that. He was also in the Lost Boy, or not the Lost Boys, Salem's Lot, and he's in one of the scariest scenes in there. That's a horror movie connection for you folks.
Oh. Yeah, but I'm doing sports connections.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you.
Wilfred Brimley is a
It was in the thing.
He's a three-time. He's an all-star. Put him up for All-Star Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, I don't have that on this
He,
one. Give me a second.
he was in The Thing. He was in The Natural, which we've also watched.
Yep.
There you go.
We had to.
Yep.
It was a sign.
So we've seen him in 3 movies so far, and he was also in the movie Tough Enough in 1983.
Was tough enough.
It's a boxing.
He wasn't boxing.
No, but he was in the movie.
Okay.
He wasn't playing
I'm
baseball,
just
but he was the
picturing-
manager.
I'm picturing Wilford Brimley out there going, hey,
Oh yeah,
come on.
they were fighting over some oatmeal.
Come on.
And
Eat some prunes.
Rocky ate eggs. He ate oatmeal.
My God.
Lisa, how do you say her last name?
Eilbacher.
She was in Run for the Roses in 1977. It's about a Puerto Rican racehorse trying to win the Kentucky Derby.
Really?
Yeah, I did some work this week.
Run for the roses. I thought this was going to be about your mare run.
I did some work. Tim's scared right now because I did some research this week.
Yeah. Ooh.
Andrew Stevens, who plays the assistant cop,
Yes.
he was in Send It. It's a surfing movie in 2021.
That nobody's heard of.
He was in Skateboard Kids, 1995. He was Miracle on Ice That's not Miracle, but it's Miracle on Ice. It's also about the 1980 Olympic team.
It is.
In 1981, he was in Breaking the Press, basketball movie, in 2010. And that brings us to our last person, Kelly Preston. Now, Kelly Preston, prior to...
Where was Kelly Preston in this movie?
She's one of her roommates, one of her... You didn't pick up on her? She gets killed.
I gotta rewatch that.
Here, watch this. Where is she? She's gonna be right there.
Yeah, I know who
before
Kelly
she was
Preston is.
before she was Kelly Preston, she was Kelly Palsy, and she was in Jerry Maguire in 1996, and she was in a movie you're gonna get next season for Love of the Game in 1999 with Kevin Costner. But I can't believe
what is For Love of the Game? Is that baseball?
Yeah,
How many baseball movies has Kevin Costner made?
a lot. I love it.
Now I gotta figure out if there's another Kevin Costner horror movie, because we did that Kevin Costner night.
Yeah, Mel Brooks or Mr.
Mel Brooks, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
Wow.
Kelly
so
Preston.
that's our sports movie connection.
It was. Now you want my rating?
I do, more than anything.
8.
8?
Is that what you thought?
I'm surprised to hear it that high. I'm really
Ooh,
glad
let me
you
change
enjoyed
it.
it.
Let me change it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was good because it's a movie that had a beginning, middle, and end. It wasn't just. It just wasn't craziness. It was a good movie. It was a good story.
Yeah, and it doesn't sit there too long.
But horror-wise, not so much.
Very frightening. Don't worry, we got some
Tim
hysteria.
is kind of like, I think he's taking it easy on me.
I'm taking it very easy on you
It's not
because
good, though.
V. Neal told me
V. Neal said you're...
that
says
I'm
it's weak.
taking it easy on you. And that's true because I don't want you running away in stark, abject fear.
I'll tell you what, if I run away, I'm not going to run away naked like that William Stacy guy did. That's not his name. What's his name again?
Jumpin' Gene.
Gene Davis. But I don't like that name, Gene Davis.
Okay, well, why
Because,
don't you
like,
tell
Gina.
his mom? Tell his mom. Okay.
He put on
First,
some weight, too.
All right, let's both make sure we do not have the chat room on. The way this works is we're going to read three things to each other about the movie, and the other person is going to figure out which one is a lie. So 2 truths and a lie. You want to go first, or should I?
I'll go.
Okay, go.
Oh, shoot. I can't go because I was going to write a name down, but I forgot her name. Okay, so no, we can do this. Because I didn't have a... Here's the thing. Let me just go...
Did everybody hear when he said how much he prepared for tonight's show?
I did, but I didn't.
Was everybody here?
You know what? I did, but I didn't. Don't give me any of this crap. All I got to do is go to cast. Where's cast? Just wait. I know this is great podcasting right now.
Fantastic.
Tim, how do you
You just went past it the 3rd time.
How do you do it?
Right here's the cast. Do you want to see
No,
the
I want
entire cast?
Yes. Oh, that's how it works. Okay.
Ooh.
Stop. Slow down. All right. So
Slow down. Hang on a minute. Hold on.
McKenna Grace,
Yes.
who played Tonya Harding, when she was 8 and 13 years old, also worked with Pauly Shore in the Amazon original 2019 movie Troop Zero. She played a Girl Scout while he played a single parent troop leader.
Yeah.
Gloria, who was the mom, Gloria, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She was. What did I write down here? I mean, oh yeah. Okay, here we go. That song Gloria that was played during the movie
Okay.
by Laura Branigan was not only in I, Tonya, but also in the ice skating scene in Flashdance. And Margot Robbie actually played amateur ice hockey as a young adult.
Okay. I'm going to make this easy for you. The lie is the first one about Pauly Shore. And the reason I know that is that, is it Zero Troop?
Yep.
No,
it's called Troop Zero.
Troop Zero. I actually watched that movie, and it has Allison Janney in it, and not Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
So had you mentioned Allison Janney, I would have been like, oh, maybe he was one of the other characters in there. But because you just swapped out Allison Janney for Pauly Shore, That was pretty easy for me. So I am correct. I'm just going to tell myself that right now. In your face. And I know you're not going to get this one this week.
I'm not happy.
Because.
Right now. I'm not happy. Because.
Right now. By the way, folks,
I'm
that movie is not worth watching. Just so everybody knows. It was terrible.
Folks,
okay.
By the way, just so you know,
yeah.
I am so not happy. This is the quickest Tim has ever answered, and he got it right.
I knew that one.
Ugh.
I knew that one. Okay. So, 10 to Midnight, 1983.
Yeah.
I am calling this the All in the Family edition because what we're going to be doing is every single one of mine has something to do with people's families. So, here we go. Yeah. Charles Brosnan was married to Anne Bancroft until her death in 1990. That's the first one. Mm-hmm. Andrew Stevens was married to one of the Charlie's Angels, Kate Jackson, for a few years. And the third one, Lisa Eilbacher's sister, Cindy Eilbacher, is best known for portraying Jerry Van Dyke's daughter on the series My Mother the Car, which is not true.
Okay, now listen to me here.
Yeah.
Just tell me who's Andrew Stevens? Which one was he?
He was the buddy cop, the young cop.
He was?
Yes.
The guy who played the killer in The Seduction?
Yes.
Okay.
Andrew Stevens.
Okay, so that's true. That one's true.
Okay. Because Kate Jackson's hot and he's hot? Is that why you're saying that?
Kate Jackson. Of the Charlie's Angels, of the originals, I'm a Kate Jackson fan.
I'm a Jacqueline Smith fan.
Oh, wait, that's who I'm thinking of. So that might not be true. Kate Jackson.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a second. I'm thinking Jacqueline Smith.
Kate Jackson.
She played in Scarecrow,
fun.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Hold on.
I probably would most want to know Kate Jackson, but Jacqueline Smith, I would.
Yes. Son of a gun. Now, wait a second. This throws a whole wrench in this.
Oh, no.
Charles.
I'm going to fool Jeff again this week.
Anne Bancroft. She's dead? Until her death.
I just read them.
And then that Lisa,
for
sister,
all you know, these are all true,
is best known for portraying Jerry Van Dyke's daughter in the series My Mother the Car. But My Mother the Car was done in black and white. So that girl would
Remember, this is 1983.
It was?
1983 was the movie 10 to Midnight.
Oh, no. Wait, My Mother the Car? You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of that guy that had the alien. He was an alien. He says, my mother is an alien.
No, My Favorite Martian.
Yeah.
Which had Bill Bixby and Ray Walston in it.
Yeah, the bald-headed guy. That was also the professor in Lost in Space.
Never bald.
He was the professor in Lost in Space.
No, he is not.
Who was the guy who was the professor?
Ray Walston went on to be in many films, many films. But he always had hair.
Okay,
he was Mr. Hand.
Yes.
In Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
You are trying to stall your way into telling you.
Mr. Hand was also the professor in Lost in Outer Space.
No, that was Jonathan Harris.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to bet some points on it?
No.
Okay,
so
thought so.
I thought Anne Bancroft was still alive. That's a long time ago, 1990, that she would have died.
That might be the lie. You don't know.
That's the lie. One is the lie.
You think one is the lie.
Wait, let me just double check. Best known for portraying My Mother the Car. But see, I think that TV show was like in the 50s or 60s. So if that'd be the case, then that would have to be like an older sister. When was that series, My Mother's the Car?
I'm not giving you a lot of extra information because that's how you get me.
Number one,
forget it.
Number one is the false
And by the way, I never read his sheet. He always stares over at my sheet. I have to make sure the sheet has no indication what's true and what's false.
Number one is the false one.
Number one is the false one. That's
what
you think.
Anne Bancroft is still alive.
So what are you saying? Anne Bancroft is still alive, or are you saying number one's false?
Well, number one is false.
Number one is false.
Yep.
That is actually true.
Yeah, baby!
But not
That's
for the
how I
reason
do
you
it.
think.
That's how I do this.
Not for the reason you think.
Yes.
Anne Bancroft is dead, but she was married to Mel Brooks. Jill Ireland is who Charles Bronson is best known for having as a wife.
Yeah, well, I got it right. You know what?
I don't care how I win.
You know what? When
It
there's
doesn't matter because I won.
if
Damn
you're doing a connected dots book, and you connect it, if you don't know the numbers, but you know what the figure is, and you can get all the way around to make the figure look right, who cares? You got it right.
Okay, so I'm filling in the
Baby.
scores.
Whoa, yeah, 61.
Oh, Jeff is still ahead for some reason, but I happen to know he usually gives me horrible films. And let's remember
I own
that
trivia.
the 7 that I gave him, lots of charity on that one. So let's go now.
Whatever, man. All I know is that I'm winning, and I just nailed another trivia. I nailed it.
Okay, so what's coming up next week
I forgot about this.
here on Dead on the Bases? So tell me a little bit about what is it you gave me. This is actually one I'm looking forward to.
I'm giving you a great John Candy movie about a true story. The Jamaicans are a bobsled team. And if you know what Jamaica's
Wait,
in...
Jamaicans are bobsleds?
No,
I thought they were people.
They are. But maybe they identify as a bobsled. I don't know. But Jamaica is an island out in the Caribbean. And so it's summer all the time there. But
Wait, is there geography involved in this show?
a little bit. Wait till you see my trivia question. I wrote them up already.
Oh, my God.
So they're
My
gonna have a bobsled team in the Olympics. I think it's the Calgary Olympics. Is it 88?
I think it was Canada. So
Yeah,
that
Calgary.
sounds right.
So there you go. So Tim, you're gonna get a fun movie.
I'm looking forward to it
Thanks.
because I'm a huge John Candy fan, and I have not.
Get outta
Finally,
here.
Jeff picks a movie I haven't seen. In fact, my brother and I are going to watch this together because
What
I
about
don't
me?
think he watched it. There's not enough seats over in his new thing yet.
I can
so-
bring over a lawn chair.
No, you cannot. And I gave you a fantastic film called Phantasm. I think you said you've seen this.
I'm
right?
not sure if I did or if I saw Phantasm
Well,
2.
and I will tell you, I've watched this movie a number of times, and like 10 minutes after I watched the movie, I'm like, what did I just watch? It is a bizarre film. It's a frightening film. It is surreal. And you are going to come in next week. I'm just going to tell all of our viewers, Jeff is going to have more questions about this freaking movie that I can't answer than like all of last season combined. Because this movie does not make sense in huge swaths of the film. And Jeff does not like when movies don't make sense.
I have a question.
Yes.
I can tell you if I saw this movie before.
Yes.
What year did this come out? Is this in 88 or 89?
I think it was earlier than that. I think.
Okay, then I didn't see it. Then I probably saw Phantasm 2 because I took a date to see that.
There's a number. I think they're up to 4 or 5 that they've made of this.
Imagine me taking a date to see a horror movie. How would that even work?
I don't know. I'm sure it didn't go well.
didn't.
The tall man that's pictured here.
Yeah.
I've met him.
Get
and
outta
I bought
here.
him a drink.
Get out of here.
I don't drink, but he did.
Well, he was talking to you. He had to.
By the way, very nice gentleman.
Come
I
on.
met him just prior to his departure from his mortal coil.
He died?
Yeah, along with Anne Bancroft. And
And Bancroft's alive.
Dead. But he did pass away shortly after I had talked to him. I have not been implicated. But he was a Shakespearean actor, and he did a lot of theater work. 1990. He's looking it up because he doesn't trust me.
2005. And that doesn't even look like Anne Bancroft, so I don't even know if this is the real person. But 2005, not 1990. So
Jill Ireland died in 1990. So anyway.
Really?
Yes, really. And because I can't write any of my notes down because you're going to stick your nose into it, I may have got it wrong. Is it 1990 she died?
Yeah,
in?
1990.
There you go. Okay.
But this looks like
So-
different than the Jill Ireland that's... You know who I thought that was? The swimsuit model.
No,
Kathy
that's
Ireland.
Kathy Ireland.
I
Kathy
wonder if
Ireland.
she's related.
Oh, you should probably spend the next 30 minutes figuring that out.
Kathy.
Okay, so we got through. I think we did everything we're supposed to do with this show. tonight, and we got another great show coming up next week. Now, originally, when we were setting up the calendar, we didn't have next week that there was going to be a show, but there is. Isn't that exciting?
It's a bonus for all you watchers and listeners.
Yes, so we're going to go straight through. And, we just got word Phantasm 2 came out in 1988. Phantasm 1 was 79.
I would have saw 2, so whatever. Who knows? But thank you, Trogdor.
Yeah, he's basically the internet on the stick. The internet on the stick. So, yes, thank you, Trogdor. And we got some great movies coming up next week. And there is a movie coming up in 2 weeks on the horror side called Alligator. My brother is out of his mind. He can't wait to watch Alligator again.
Really?
That is a movie we watched on VHS. I can't even tell you how many times. We recorded it off TV. We must have watched it 1,000 times. Loved that movie.
Do you think he'll have a chair at his place by then?
Not for you. He's got a sign out front that says no riffraff. I don't think it's going to be allowed.
What about the mayor of Muskego?
The mayor of Muskego? If you're the mayor of Muskego, you may not ever be allowed in there.
Oh, man. All right.
Because what was this? What was your big platform?
Yes, I'm going to rename Hartkey Street to Idle Isle Street.
That's your platform.
Yep.
We'll talk about that in the after show. But right now, it's time to close the crypt and call the game. This is why you should come in live so you can see the after show. Thank you for watching. Remember to share and subscribe to our show and feed. You can find the show at otherworldlyculture.com and follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stupefy, and YouTube. And other fine places you find podcasts. Do you know who played Stupefying Jones?
Nope. I have no idea.
Julie Newmar. She played
she's
Stupefying Jones.
Catwoman.
Yes, in the movie Lil Abner, she played Stupefying Jones. Just happen to know it. If it is sports, you call it a home run. If it's horror, run home! We're dead on the bases, and we'll see you next time. Come on. Really. There we go.
Otherworldlyculture.com. GreenUpMuskego.com.
Oh, you saw the hat behind you.
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
I got to use Muskego plugs all the time.
Did you go to Green Up Muskego?
No.
And you want to be a mayor? Thanks everybody for tuning in. We
I'm a real
appreciate
mayor.
it.
I'm not like a false mayor. I'm a real mayor.
You identify as a mayor?
A mayor, not a mayor.
We're gonna get ourselves in trouble. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Wow, this season was the one that had No Limit in it. That's a long time ago. That was the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that movie stunk.
It was